My mother once called me crying from a cruise ship. She had saved for 2 years for that trip after my father passed. She imagined ocean views and quiet mornings. Instead, her cabin sat under the pool deck, with chairs scraping at 5 a.m. Her account already had $74 in charges, and the ocean view was a steel lifeboat filling the window. She didn't know. Nobody told her. I worked as a cruise director. I watched this happen to thousands of passengers. So here are 20 cabin tricks the cruise industry quietly hopes you miss. Number 1. The Minibar. Margaret and David boarded their ship in Fort Lauderdale, dropped their bags, and David opened the minibar just to see what was inside. He picked up a bottle of water, checked the price, and put it back. Never opened it. On checkout day, $74 in minibar charges. From embarkation day, before their luggage arrived. On sensor-equipped ships, Royal Caribbean and Norwegian both use them. Lifting an item to check the label can trigger a charge automatically. A bottle of water runs from $6 to $8. A bag of nuts, $9. First thing you do when you reach the cabin, open the fridge, photograph everything, close it, and never touch it again. If you have a drinks package, use the bars. Number 2. The cabin near the elevator. A woman I'll call Carol specifically requested a convenient cabin. Guest services put her near the elevator on deck 7. Perfect, she thought. Night 1, theater crowd at 10:30 p.m. Night 2, teenagers at midnight. Night 3, a cleaning trolley at 2 a.m. By night 4, she was calling the front desk in tears, asking to move. The elevator is convenient for about 90 seconds a day. The noise is there for 16 hours. Mid-hallway. Always mid-hallway. Number 3. The balcony upgrade call. A few weeks before sailing, your phone rings. Warm voice, good news. A balcony cabin just opened up for a small upgrade fee. It feels personal, like you were selected. You weren't. Former reservation agents are candid about what's actually happening. These calls go out when unsold premium cabins are sitting empty. The limited time language is scripted. In many cases, those same cabins are still available on the morning of departure, sometimes for less than the upgrade fee you were just quoted. If you get one of these calls, hang up, go online, and price it yourself. You'll usually find the same room cheaper. Stick around for number 7. It costs passengers real money on almost every sailing, and the fix takes 30 seconds before you leave home. Number 4. The obstructed view surprise. Quick question. What exactly is an ocean view cabin? According to most booking pages, it's a window facing the sea. What they're quieter about, some of those windows look directly at lifeboats, steel equipment housings, or mechanical structures bolted to the hull. The listing says partially obstructed. That phrase can mean a sliver of water visible around a massive orange lifeboat the size of a school bus. My mother's cabin, that was hers. Before booking any ocean view room, search the specific cabin number on Cruise Critic. Previous passengers post photos. 5 minutes of research can save real disappointment and real money. Number 5. The guaranteed cabin gamble. A guaranteed cabin is the cheapest fare in a category. No room selection. The cruise line assigns whatever is available. Here's what that actually means. The system is designed to fill the least desirable cabins first. Under the pool deck, above the engine room, next to the service corridor with foot traffic from 5 a.m. Cruise lines aren't randomly assigning rooms. They're solving an inventory problem, and you're the solution. For a first-timer on a short trip, fine. For anyone who values sleep, or has a bad back, or uses a CPAP, or simply paid good money, spend the extra $50 and pick your own room. No spoilers, but number 20 is the one that surprised me the most when I saw it from the inside. Don't skip it. Number 6. The pool deck noise. I once watched a passenger's 4th cruise, and I knew what she would get when she asked for a cabin move on night 1. She'd specifically requested a quiet upper deck room. She got exactly that, quiet upper deck, directly under the Lido pool. By 11 p.m., deck crew dragging sun laungers. By midnight, cleaning carts. By 6 a.m., chairs going back out. She told me I thought I had done everything right. She had done everything right except check what was directly above her on the deck plan. These cabins are priced lower for a reason. On the deck plan, look for cabins with other passenger cabins directly above and below. That's your quiet zone. Number 7. The power outlet trap. 1 or 2 outlets. That's what most cruise cabins still offer in 2024. For a solo traveler, manageable. For a couple with phones, tablets, a CPAP, and a camera, it's a real problem by night 2. The cruise solution? A charging adapter from the onboard shop, $35 to $50. The same adapter costs $12 on Amazon. Pack a compact multi-USB charger before you leave home. It is the single most practical item experienced cruisers never forget to bring. If this is useful, hit subscribe. There's a lot more on this channel. Number 8. The room service reality. The image: breakfast on the balcony, coffee hot, croissants on a tray, and the ocean going past. The reality in 2024, most major cruise lines now charge a $5 to $8 delivery fee per order, sometimes on top of individual item prices. Carnival added these fees across most of its fleet after 2022. Norwegian charges per item on several ships. One passenger told me she ordered what she thought was a free continental breakfast and got a $34 charge. I felt stupid, she said, but nobody told me. Check the room service menu on day 1 before you're hungry and tired and just want coffee. Number 9. The cabin near the theater. When a cruise ship show ends, 400 to 800 people exit into the same corridor at the same time. That hallway stays loud for 20 to 30 minutes. Voices, laughter, doors, and the particular sound of several hundred people deciding where to go next. This happens twice a night on most ships, a 9 p.m. show and an 11 p.m. show. Bill and his wife specifically chose a cruise for the peace and quiet 2 weeks after his retirement. Their cabin was 4 doors from the main theater exit. He heard every single show, he told me, from our pillows. The deck plan shows you exactly where the theater sits. Any cabin within 2 sections of that exit is a gamble if you go to bed before midnight. Number 10. The complimentary cabin move. You're cold. You call guest services, they're sympathetic. They have something available, slightly warmer, and a better location on the ship. It sounds like a courtesy. What some passengers don't notice until checkout, the new room is a higher category. The move looked free. The charge on the final bill was real. Before requesting any cabin reassignment for temperature, spend a full day adjusting the thermostat first. Ships run cool deliberately. It controls humidity and genuinely helps passengers sleep. If it's truly broken, get the fault confirmed in writing before accepting any alternative room. Number 11. The pay-per-view trap. The TV looks free. Most of it is. Then there's a movie section that charges directly to your onboard account, usually $14 to $18 per film. No confirmation prompt on several ships. No warning pop-up. You select, it plays, it bills. Patricia was on her first cruise alone. Her husband had passed 8 months earlier. She'd promised herself she'd finally take the trip they'd always talked about. Some nights she was tired, a little lonely, and just wanted to watch a film in bed like a normal evening at home. She watched 4 movies over 7 nights. She'd assumed it worked like Netflix. $64 in films I half watched, she told me later. That was supposed to be a nice dinner ashore, something to remember. Download 2 or 3 films on a tablet before you board. No fees, no surprises. Number 12. The cabin phone. What do you think a 5-minute call home costs from the phone on your cabin's bedside table? Satellite rates run between $4 and $9 per minute. A quick, "we arrived safely, all good," costs $25 to $45 before you hang up. Dorothy called her daughter night 1 just to say she'd arrived, just to hear a familiar voice. 5 minutes. She didn't think twice about it. It looked exactly like the phone on her bedside table at home. The bill at the end of the week listed it as $38. For 5 minutes I told my daughter I was fine, she said. I cried a little, if I'm honest. WhatsApp or iMessage over ship Wi-Fi costs a fraction of that.
If you have an internet package, the cabin phone stays on the hook for the entire trip. Number 13. The safe that doesn't fit. Every cruise cabin advertises an in-room safe. What they don't advertise, it's built for passports and cash. A laptop doesn't fit. A camera with a zoom lens doesn't fit. A tablet in a case is borderline. Robert was traveling alone for the first time in 40 years. His wife had always handled the packing, the planning, all of it. He brought his laptop because it made him feel connected. Emails from the grandchildren, video calls home. He hadn't considered where it would live when he wasn't in the cabin. He carried it everywhere for 7 days, to breakfast, to the pool, to shore excursions. I felt like a fool, he told me, but I didn't know what else to do. Pack valuables in slim, flat cases, or accept early on that the cabin safe has limits and plan accordingly. Number 14. The laundry room they don't tell you about. Many ships have self-service laundry rooms on lower passenger decks. Washers, dryers, detergent dispensers. A full load costs $3 to $5. The full-service laundry charges $4 to $7 per garment. Jean was traveling on a fixed income. She'd budgeted carefully, knew what she could spend each day, and had it written in a small notebook she kept in her cabin. By day 4, she was running low on clothes. She handed a bag to the laundry service without asking the price first. The bill was $94. That was my spending money for 2 port days, she said. I just sat on the ship instead. These rooms aren't in the app. They're not in the cabin directory. Ask guest services on day 1. Self-service laundry. 2 words. They'll point you right to it. Number 15. The balcony privacy illusion. The brochure photo. A couple with morning coffee, completely alone, ocean in every direction. What the photo doesn't show, on ships with curved hull sections, neighboring balconies can have direct sight lines into yours. Not every ship, not every deck, but common enough that experienced cruisers specifically check hull shape before booking. One couple told me they came out for a private anniversary breakfast and found themselves looking directly at the people next door. They were close enough to pass the butter. Ships with straighter hull profiles offer significantly better balcony privacy. The dramatic, curved megaships that look most impressive in promotional photos are the ones most likely to have this issue.
Number 16. The 4 a.m. problem. One passenger told me the floor buffer started above his cabin at 4:47 a.m. every morning for 7 days. His room sat directly below a service corridor, visible on the deck plan as a thin gray line most people scroll past when they're hunting for a bargain. Ships don't sleep. Maintenance, restocking, and cleaning run through the night and into the early hours. I came home more tired than when I left, he told me. That thin gray line on the deck plan is worth a second look. Number 17. The midnight corridor. The buffet closes around midnight. The corridor outside, it stays busy until 2 a.m. Late-night snack seekers, crew finishing service, and the general foot traffic of a ship that never fully powers down. On a 7-night cruise, being woken at 1 a.m. 4 times is roughly 5 hours of broken sleep, enough to change how the whole holiday feels. Check where the buffet and 24-hour snack stations are before you finalize your room. Number 18. The lighting problem. Cruise cabin lighting is designed for mood. It is not designed for function. Warm, dim, atmospheric, very good for relaxing. Genuinely useless for reading a medication label, packing at 6 a.m., or finding a dark sock on a dark carpet. I watched a passenger spend 20 minutes searching for her reading glasses because she simply could not see clearly enough in her own cabin. A clip-on reading light weighs almost nothing. Pack one. You'll use it every single night. Number 19. The last night sales push. This one genuinely irritated me when I saw it from the inside. In the final 48 hours of a cruise, the ship activates. Flyers appear in your cabin, the TV pushes offers, staff set up tables near the exits. The pitch never changes. Book now, today only, special price. The psychology is deliberate. You're relaxed, you've had a wonderful time, your defenses are completely down. And cruise lines internally track that their highest new booking conversion rates happen in those final 48 hours and engineer every detail to keep it that way. An older gentleman on one of my sailings booked his next 3 cruises last evening. He called me 6 weeks later. He'd found the same cabins $400 cheaper each through an independent travel agent. The exclusive price is almost never the best available price. Go home first, compare properly, then book. Number 20, the thing that makes every other trick irrelevant. I saved this for last. Every single issue I've described, the noise, the obstructions, the pool deck, the service corridors, the theater exits, are visible on the deck plan. Every single one. The information is there. Cruise lines don't hide it. They just don't explain it, and they don't volunteer either. Most passengers spend more time choosing a restaurant for Saturday dinner than studying the deck plan before a $4,000 to $9,000 cruise. Here's what to look for. Cabin category colors, proximity to elevator shafts and stairwells, gray service corridor markings, decks directly above pool areas, entertainment venues, and hull shape if you're booking a balcony. Then cross-reference with Cruise Critic. Real passengers post photos, noise reports, and cabin reviews going back years. 30 minutes, that's all it takes. I think about my mother often when I made this video. She called me from that ship exhausted, confused, a little embarrassed, asking if there was anything she could do. There wasn't. The trip was already happening. She's been on 3 cruises since. She reads the deck plan before she books anything. She sleeps well. She has breakfast on her balcony with an actual ocean view. That's what 30 minutes looks like. If this helped, share it with someone who has a sailing trip coming up. They'll thank you for it.